Hi, Year 8. You've got me again today to go through your next online remote learning lesson. First of all, hope everyone's staying safe and you're all okay. In today's lesson, we're going to focus on letter writing, and you're going to be writing an informal letter to a friend or someone that you know. Okay, as always, the first thing that we're going to start our lesson with is your 5-a-day do now writing task, and this time all the questions are centered around writing techniques and challenges and little things that we do when writing newspaper articles or letters. So you got 5 minutes, 5 questions. Good luck. Okay, let's go through the answers. So the first one was asking you to name which technique I gave you on the previous slide. And I said, sunny Saturday in Southport. If you're in my class and I'm your teacher, you will know that I use that one all the time as a reference to a quick and easy way to use alliteration. Number 2 then, I was asking, a broadsheet newspaper would be written in what type of style? Would it be informal or formal? And the answer is formal. Okay, number 3 was true or false. Can you sign off a letter with lots of love if it's informal? Well, yes you can, because that informal letter could be being sent to your best friend or your granny or your auntie or long lost cousin. Number 4, the answer is yours sincerely. Okay, this is when you sign off a letter. If you know the person, you would say yours sincerely. So you could be writing a letter to Miss Johnson or another teacher, or maybe it could be someone else that you've once known, and you're being really formal. It's a formal letter. You're going to sign off with yours sincerely. And the last one, I asked you, could you name some tabloid newspapers, okay, where a lot of the more articles they would write would be around celebrities and sport and sort of gossip rather than groundbreaking news. So I've put like the Daily Mirror, the Sun, or the Daily Star. Okay, so today's lesson objective, and this is just going to be what we're covering in the whole of today's lesson. We're going to be looking at how to write an informal letter, okay? And your task will be write that letter to a friend who is considering getting a tattoo, okay? So I've tried to make it as interesting as it could be today, and be a little bit more dramatic, so you could use a bit more of dramatic irony within your writing. So that is your objective for today. Right, so today you're just going to look at an informal letter, but there are 2 types, okay? So there's formal and informal, and here is the information you need to know about them both. A formal letter would be written for more of an official purpose, and that's to communicate with the person receiving the letter. Okay, so this could be a letter that perhaps you might see mum and dad get in the form of a bill or from the bank, or it could be in a few years' time letters that you guys are going to get back when you start applying for part-time jobs, or it could be an application to go to a college, and you might get a letter back from the college which will be written in a very formal way. An informal letter then is written in a much more casual manner, okay, and that is a letter that you would receive or write to from someone that you already know or you're quite friendly with. So like I said before in your do now task, it could be from a family member or your best friend. Both letters are very similar, okay, because they're a letter, they have to be, but there are clear differences in both that you need to know. And remember, today you're just going to focus on informal. Okay, let's look at the differences then between informal and formal. Right, underneath formal then you'll see the first one. We're going to look at the first bullet point here, which says greeting, and that opens with dear sir or madam. Okay, because if you think about it, you might be asked to write a letter to your local college. You might not know who's in charge of that college. So if you don't know in that instance, you would always say dear sir or madam, because you don't know their name. If you do know the name, you could put that in and go directly to the person. Underneath that then, I am writing in response to your advertisement, or I am writing in response to your part-time job, or I am writing in response to this great opportunity that I saw. So the tone is very formal, and what I mean by formal is very official, very to the point, no real room for hi, how are you, is everything okay? It's just I am writing to you for X, Y, Z, whatever it might be. So our last bullet point then on formal looks at closing, so that means finishing your letter. You might say things like yours faithfully, yours sincerely, I look forward to hearing from you, stuff like that. Again, you're signing off a very formal manner. It's not like see you soon or take care. It's I look forward to hearing from you. Let me know if there's any other information you need from me. Yours faithfully, and then you put your name. Let's look at informal letter then on the other side. So you can open with hi, hey, how's it going? Thanks for your letter. It was nice to hear from you. I can't believe it's been so long. So a real casual conversation manner. It's just like you're sat by that person and you're having a bit of a chit chat. To close your informal letter then, you could say things like, I've got to go, write soon, or take care, love you lots. Let's chat later in the week, something like that. So again, it's a much more friendly flow of a conversation rather than the opposite, which is a formal letter. You know, I look forward to hearing from you soon. You would never say that if you were writing a letter to one of your close friends. So that's the differences, and we're going to look at them in a bit more detail, but obviously specifically informal because that's what we're looking at today. Right, informal letter. Here I've got the layout, and I just want to focus on this for a minute or two. You have to start your informal letter with your address. I know this might seem like a very formal thing, but in this box you might see me drawn on screen. That's where you're going to put your address. Okay? Underneath that then, you also need to put the date. That might seem like a very formally tone, but if it's an informal letter you're sending to a family member or your friend, you want them to write back to you, so they need to know your address, don't they? Then you're going to open it with, hey, hello, hi, and then you'll have the body of your letter take up most of your page, and then the end, you're going to sign off with the closing farewell. So, your layout's really important. You can either write your real address or make an address up, but it has to be a realistic address, like 22 Princess Avenue, or, you know, something we would believe. It can't be something absolutely bonkers. Remember to put the date underneath. You can use the date on the day that you do this task, or, you know, you can make up a date. But again, make sure it's a realistic time frame. It's not from the 1930s or something. To open your letter, I would use one of the following. To, and put the person's name, hi, person's name, hello, or dear. Okay, dear might sound formal, but you can still use it in an informal letter. Right, signing off then, you've got these options. Take care, see you soon, lots of love. You could even put PS, let's chat later, stuff like that. So please refer closely to this template that I've put for helping you to write your own informal letter. So when you come to do this task today, what I would suggest is get an A4 page, preferably lined to help you, and practice maybe a few times the layout, practice the address, make sure you're happy and it looks to be along the right lines of this template. Okay, I'm going to talk you through my example. Alright, so if you just follow along with me, I've made it go through step by step each stage, and I'll highlight little things on the screen for us to look at as well. First thing then, the address. Okay, this isn't actually my real address, I've just made this one up, but it looks like it could be a real address. Okay, so 22 Princess Park Road, Liverpool, Merseyside, and I just made up a postcode to go with it. The next thing, the date. Okay, I've put this date for the week this task is going to go live on the school website, but you could pick another date, but again, it has to be sort of realistic. in terms of time frame. Okay, I've opened with hey. Okay, so that's how I've chose to open my letter and then put the person's name. So hey Sam. So here's my first two paragraphs. All right, I'm going to talk you through it. And remember, the basis of the letter was writing to a friend who's thinking about getting a tattoo. Hey Sam, I thought I'd write straight away as I saw on Facebook that you want a tattoo. Have you lost the plot? I thought I was reading someone else's status when I saw what you wrote. Has moving to London left you away with the fairies? I actually think I would like a tattoo on my right arm, but having watched a programme on tattoo removals, it looks painful. Speaking of painful, are you still rubbish at FIFA? We never did have that rematch, did we? So my first opening paragraph, I address straight away what the letter is going to be about. So straight away, I've saw on Facebook that my friend Sam wanted to get a tattoo. And then I've gone in with the rhetorical question, have you lost the plot? I've also tried to make it quite tongue-in-cheek because I'm writing a letter to my friend, we know each other, so it's that sort of friendly banter. I didn't just talk about the tattoo in the opening paragraph, I made sure people were aware that we're friends, okay? How we know that is because we've, in my make-believe letter, we've played FIFA before, and then I have a bit of a joke about we need a rematch again. Moving on then to my second paragraph, and I'll choose a different colour this time. But anyway, back to the point. It took you like 5 hours to decide what top to wear to Matt's party. Never mind a tattoo. Those things are permanent, I can tell you definitely haven't thought this one through. I know I'm going all mum and dad mode, but I need to tell you that this is a huge mistake. You'll regret it when you're older, and I imagine if you don't get into university to study psychology because of a silly, great big whopping tattoo. So, I've gone back to the point then of what the letter is about. So I'm writing to him because he's considering getting a tattoo, and my thoughts on it are I don't think it's a good thing. Again, I've made a little friendly reference about, a party that I just made up that only he and sort of I would know, so I've made an in-joke again to show the casual nature of the letter, but then I've kept referring back to, I think this is a huge mistake, you'll regret it, so all those types of things you might say to someone if they were in that position. I then made a reference about if you don't get into university to study psychology. So again, I've just made that completely up to use in my letter, but I've kind of put that in to get the point across that I really want my friend to think about what he's doing. Okay, so that's helping reinforce the point of the letter. Finally then, the last sort of signing off part of the letter, and I'll go for a different colour this time. I signed off really quick and easy, take care, okay? I said, think about when you're older and wrinkly and your tattoos disappeared and what's your dad going to think about this? My dad would kill me, please rethink, ... a bit of a cliffhanger, but not really because it's not that dramatic. But I said, take care, and then I put my name, Jack, okay, so just obviously made that up. And then PS, let's play FIFA soon, I miss beating you. Okay, so step by step, really easy way to go through. Start with the address, the date, open it with hey, hi, how are you, person's name, comma, new line, indent in the paragraph. Okay, you can see I've left the space here for an indent. In fact, I've done that in all my lines, but if you just want to do it in the first one, that's absolutely fine. And then I've gone into the body of my paragraph. I didn't really focus too much on techniques, you can put in some alliteration. I did put in quite a bit of punctuation, exclamations, commas, ellipses. I asked a few rhetorical questions, but I just want you to focus on writing a really good, strong, casual letter to your make-believe friend, whether or not you agree or disagree with them getting this tattoo. Okay, so I'm sure I've talked you all to death by this point. You got 5 minutes now to plan your letter. Think about the following bullet points. Who is your friend and how old are they? How do you know them? Did you meet in school? Are they a family friend? Did you meet on holiday? How did you find out about the tattoo? In my letter, I saw it on Facebook. Did you see it on social media or did someone tell you? Are you for or are you against their tattoo? Are you trying to convince them to not go ahead with it, or are you going to be really supportive and think, wow, this is a great idea? So please spend 5 minutes bullet pointing, spider diagramming, different ideas about what you're going to base your letter on. Right, that brings us to the end of today's lesson. So last thing that I want to say is please send me copies of your work, okay? So you'll see my email below. Just send me an email. And hopefully you've given today a real good go in terms of the template layout that I showed you, types of content you can put in your letter, things to say, and you've remembered to use that informal way of opening your letter and closing your letter. If you've any other questions, you can drop me an email. I hope to get lots of your submissions through, and then I can feed back to you in time for your next video with me. But in the meantime, please continue to take care and look after yourselves, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.